Hello, and welcome to a positive mindset and motivation in the workplace. Positive mindset is just another way of saying positive thinking and motivation in the workplace. So, what is positive thinking? Positive thinking is a way that you process the information that you're taking in. And life, we all know, is going to be challenging, but it's the way that you approach those challenges and how you move forward and the decisions that you make when you're moving forward um, that express positive thinking or a positive mindset. It's the belief in yourself and the belief in your abilities and like how you obtain information. So it's just like we're not expecting you to know everything or how to move forward, but how are you going to go about moving forward and asking for assistance and moving forward to keep that positive mindset. Like, I guess we, for a lack of a better term, we can say get her done. So that positive mindset, positive thinking, and motivation in the workplace. So today's agenda is we're going to define the importance of a positive mindset or positive thinking. We're going to go into reprogramming because it took a long time for us to learn how to think this way, to not believe in ourselves, to feel defeated at our challenges. So it took a long time for us to accumulate all these bad habits. So it's going to take a while for us to shake them all off. So you'll just have to learn some new habits. And so we'll go into those habits later. And then where is your motivation hiding? And this is motivation across the board. It's not just motivation at work. It can be motivation at home. It can be motivation in social gatherings. So we're going to look into where's your motivation hiding and how can you find it? So again, my name is Michelle O'Quinn. I can be reached at michelle@scareinc.org. The number I can be reached at is 619-328-0676, and just request Michelle O'Quinn. So just a little background about myself. Um, I was a single mom of 7 kids. I had went through a divorce when my youngest was 12 days old. At that time, my dad was in the VA hospital. He had Guillain-Barré, so his entire nervous system shut down. My mom lived in Florida, so I did not have social structures in place to help me. And of course, life was difficult. I had the lack of money. I mean, like, who can afford 7 kids by themselves? And then lack of time because I worked full time. I went to school online, and then I took care of my 7 kids. And then I had to take courses online because there was no way that I would be able to attend class in person. So I eventually earned my degree. Um, it's really hard when you're under all these stressors to stay positive, you know, um, and to be joyful, to be around when you're in the company of other people. So in your daily life, so everybody experiences stressors. We all have our stressors. They may not all look the same. My stressors may not be as difficult as your stressors, or your stressors may not be as difficult as mine. That's not what we're here to look at. We're just here to look at the stressors of our daily life. So when you're dealing with your family, you may be dealing with illnesses, especially during COVID. And then a lot of those illnesses after COVID did not go away. So you have people that are still having health issues even after COVID. So we're talking about illnesses. Death is always an issue in our family life. There could be alcoholism, not necessarily in your immediate family, but it's in the family. drug addiction, arguments, um, legal trouble. You may have a change in your residence. When it comes to your children, they may have increased social activities, after school activities. We're talking about um, uh, noise, noises, pollution, just all the daily, just everyone just in your ear. Loss of a job, job insecurity, especially if you have an employer who's constantly, like, that's their method of keeping everyone on track, is to threaten their job, and to threaten their job security. Like, some employers don't understand like what they're doing when they say those things, because it's just like you have children at home, so it becomes triggering. um, Trouble with the supervisor, troubles with colleagues. Sometimes you find yourself in a work environment where people like to gossip or create little cliques here and there. Um, you have under promotions or over promotions. If you're working the night shift, that can be overwhelming. If they're constantly giving you overtime because they're understaffed, um, that's challenging as well. New technology, and your employer might be expecting you to learn these things very quickly. Also, a stressor could be pregnancy, or unexpected pregnancy, or a child leaving the home and starting college, or things like that. So all these things, they become like stressors in your daily life, and you have your cup, and your cup is so full, and then you're giving so much of yourself, and you have nothing left to give to yourself. So also in this, I'm saying to be kind to yourself, and to take that time to check yourself out and see how you're doing, um, with everything. Can't be about everybody else all the time. What entails having a positive attitude? So having a positive attitude is not skipping to work and whistling Dixie and twirling around in a field of grass like the sound of music. You know, op- Being optimistic, um, like belief that there's going to be a positive outcome, and remaining hopeful for the best case scenario, or the best, that the best is going to happen, and then having a positive perspective, and like your point of view is very important. um, and that you see that you're expecting good, and that you're seeing the positive in each situation. It may not be exactly what you ordered, but at least something good came out of it. You see the results of. So first we have, like, it boosts your productivity. So positive thinking stimulates your brain to make sure it is functioning at its highest capacity, at its best. It also increases your energy level, and it makes you more alert and better equipped to do your duties. As it reduces your stress, positive thinking will also help you think more clearly, to improve your focus. So as we perform better, we do better. Especially if we see that we're performing better, we get excited and we want to do more. Um, Also, having a positive, having, sorry, having a positive, um, it facilitates interactions. So many people naturally gravitate towards positive people, and you're building positive relationships with these people, and you become more approachable, and you have stronger relationships. And as we know, like with networking, you become more alert of things that are going on around you. And then overcoming challenges and um, being resilient and optimistic about challenges. And that's just expecting like the best to come out of it, or that you even tried your best, or that you're going to learn something new so that next time you do it, you can increase in the quality of the work that you're producing. Also, being resilient is being able to accept feedback from other people. And because you're in this positive space, you're not taking that feedback as negative criticism, or that someone's trying to break you down, but that you're open to feedback to make you better, a better person, and being open to other people, especially when there are challenges, or something didn't go exactly right. It helps you identify your strengths and your weaknesses, so that you can become a better employee. So we're gonna we're going to look at a few habits that we need to develop, because like I said in the beginning, it took us a long time to learn um, how to have these bad habits. So it's gonna take a long time for us to unlearn these habits, because they didn't happen overnight, you know. Um, so the first thing is to practice gratitude. And gratitude can help you reconnect with other people, and to connect with other people and build relationships based on um, values. And practicing gratitude in the workplace is recognizing another coworker and showing them that you support them. And then you'll see that this support and this recognition is reciprocated. And then that's how you build these stronger bonds in the workplace. Um, and you have a stronger support system in the workplace. And I can tell you that in a workplace where people support each other and they work well together, the, the quality of production is just, it's great. It's totally different from getting something from somewhere that's so dysfunctional. Um, and then don't take it personal. So sometimes people um, take things personal uh, when someone else may be in a mood, and taking it personal means being upset or being offended by what somebody else has said, or um, could be something that was unkind, but try not to take it personally, because it may be that that person is having their own moment. And so you just need to walk away and let them have their moment, but don't take it personal. So you just kind of have to gauge as to what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. So if you ask somebody for a cup of coffee and they're going off, just know that that energy does not belong to you. Like, okay, I'm gonna walk away now, and just recognize that that doesn't belong to you. You may have to take a couple of minutes to reprogram yourself into, from fight mode, to professional mode, and just recognizing that that person is a human being and they're probably having a moment, and not take it personal. Be happy for others, and just not everybody is your competitor. Um, it's just so weird now. because we have this thing where it's just like, if you don't agree with me, then you're a hater, or, hate on me, and, all this. And that's not necessarily true. Like, not everybody is trying to compete with you. The only competitor that you truly have is a person that you were yesterday. So if you're going to be a better person than you were yesterday, that's your competition right there. Be happy for other people. And like I said, being happy for other people, it gets reciprocated, and it creates better bonds at work. Also, adjust your perspective. So your perspective is basically how you look at things. So you can look at things as lack and scarcity, or that there's abundance, that there's always enough. A lot of times, oh goodness, good example, toilet paper. Like, everybody remembers toilet paper, but that was a whole country going nuts over lack and scarcity, and then there ended up not being enough for everyone else, when there's always enough. There is enough. That was ridiculous. But it's just like, you can look at something as there's lack and scarcity, or that there's abundance, and that there's always enough, and that you will find it. You may not find it when you want to, but you will find it when you need to. Also, to looking at things as the glass, or the plate half empty, or the plate half full. I remember I had a student who, like, every time their plate was like half empty, they would want seconds on their plate, even though there was still food on their plate, because they felt like their plate was getting empty. So it's just, and there's still food on your plate. So, I mean, but they looked at their plate as getting empty, that there's not going to be enough, that it won't be replenished, and it will be replenished, and there's always enough. So it's just like, it's your perspective and it's how you look at things, and you have to try to find the good. And there's always good in situations. So just adjust your perspective, and it takes time. Again, it's not overnight. It takes time to adjust your perspective and how you see things. And there's always good. There's always good if you're looking for it. Kind of say, like, you get what you look for. So it's like one of those things. If I said, something with orange on his socks, so now you're just going to be looking around at people with something orange on their socks. Why? Because that's what you're looking for. That's the perspective that you're looking for. Like, people with orange on their socks are rude. So now it's like you're looking at people with orange, looking for people with orange on their socks, and you're expecting them to be rude because I said that they're supposed to be rude. So it's just, I guess, recognizing your perspective and how you're seeing things, but then also to adjusting your perspective and recognizing the good. Also, be kind to yourself. Being gentle with yourself means simply recognizing that we're all human, and acknowledge that we all are fallible in some way. Like, we don't always get it right. And then act accordingly, instead of berating yourself, and when you mess up, or when things don't go your right way, or don't go, everything's the right way but doesn't go how you wanted it, or how you planned. um, just treat yourself with some kindness and some compassion, and then try again. And sometimes, like, the biggest critic is yourself. And you need to listen to that voice in your head and what they're actually saying. And you might have to reprogram that, like, okay, yeah, I messed up. It's okay. Everybody messes up. I'm all right with that. I'm fine with that. And then also too, you might want to while you're being kind to yourself, also be kind to others. And then get connected and contribute. So get more involved with your coworkers during company events or team building exercises. Commit and offer your input and support, like when there's projects that need to be done. And then this leads to a reciprocity, within the team, and you can increase your network and build lasting professional relationships. And then it can also, your coworkers can help you stay motivated, during the period of your career. And then when you plan on attending like a team meeting or a project development meeting, like write down 2 or 3 ideas that you can contribute to the discussion, and just say them out loud, and let it swirl or drive with everybody that's there. And who knows, like your idea might be the foundation for something that everybody else contributed to, that came would come about amazingly. But if you didn't input your idea, then all of that would be for naught. So this self-talk, so the self-explanatory style, you have optimistic, which means like when positive things are happening, you feel that it came from your amazing self. And then when negative things happen, they come from temporary outside forces. But the key point is that like it's temporary. A pessimistic self-explanatory style is like negative things happen. Positive things happen. And then that positive thing is only in that moment. Like, yeah, I was able to get an ice cream cone like now. and, and instead of being happy or grateful or excited, it's just like, I'm not going to get too excited because this is only going to happen once. This is a one-time positive deal, you know um, and then when negative things happen, a pessimist seems to feel that negative activities or negative happenings or things that happen, that it's on this continual wheel, so that it's like a never ending cycle of negativity, and that like the positive things only happen once in a while. So it's just like if you're having that pessimistic self-explanatory style, then you can reprogram. So when you do get that ice cream, like, wow, I'm so glad I treated myself to an ice cream. When negative things happen, like this particular thing is, it's just this situation. This too will pass. It's not on a continual cycle. It's not going to continue going, on and on and on and on. More negative things are coming. Well, more positive things are coming. So try to change that self-explanatory style and be kind to yourself. This is also the whole be kind to yourself. Very, 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 that everyone is not going to be positive all the time. Everyone's not going to be positive all the time. And we can't expect them to be positive all the time, but because we don't know what they're going through. So just because they showed up at work today doesn't mean that they didn't spend the night in the hospital with a loved one and didn't share that with you. It's not their obligation to share their personal life with you. They could have a child at home that decided to run away. They could be dealing with a death in the family. They could be going through marital problems, but they don't have to explain that to you. But there are some things that you can do. If you see that someone's not in a good way and they're not in a and not in a good space. So be intentional about your time. So, like if you that just remain mindful in that moment, you know, and you don't have to spend time in that negative space. It's part of dealing with having boundaries. And I had did a workshop previous to this one, and it was about setting boundaries in the workplace. And setting you can set boundaries around your time, and you can set boundaries about your personal space and behaviors that you're going to accept and behaviors that you're not going to accept. Sorry, I don't like I'm gonna need to step away for a minute. You know, things like that. You don't have to say it in a negative way or in a harsh way. But setting those boundaries are important. And at the same time, carrying empathy and compassion for your coworker. Um, sorry, setting carrying empathy and compassion for your coworker. This helps us understand how others are feeling so that we can respond appropriately to the situation. Um, so it, how I started this whole section, and that, everyone's not going to be positive all the time. And if you see that someone's not in a good way, that's not the time to berate them about their attitude and how they're making you feel and that you feel uncomfortable. Because I think that in that moment and in that time and in that space, that they need their own time, they need their own space. There's a better time to address your feelings, about the situation at that time. That coworker may need some empathy and may need some compassion, and may need some space, and you just allow them to have that. And I think that that would be more appreciated than berating them about the way that they're making you feel. um, and then also, again, it's that not taking it personal. So we don't learn things overnight. And as I said before, that it took a long time for us to have these negative thoughts and um, to develop all that self-talk regarding, who we are and, you know, uh, whether or not we have a positive or a negative mindset. And, you know, um, so we have to give ourselves routine reminders. Um, I, just like when you're driving, there's routine reminders about the speed limit that we may or may not listen to, but just in case we don't want to look at those, you have highway patrol to remind us about the speed limit that was posted that we may or may not listen to. So, as human beings, we constantly need reminders. Um, so, the first reminder is to have gratitude. Again, just um, being grateful and thankful to your people that are around you. um, don't dwell on the problem. Like, things happen, people make mistakes, some things fall through the cracks. We can't catch everything. We are human. I mean, geez, Facebook gets it wrong and they have a whole team. So so it's just like, don't dwell on the problem, just dwell on a solution, you know, be more solution oriented, like, okay, we've identified the problem. You don't need to identify the problem in 20 ways, just identify the problem and then come up with 20 different solutions to that one problem. Have an open mind, and having an open mind opens you up for to receive feedback from people. And this feedback is not people hating you. And it's, I mean, I don't understand people not accepting feedback. When you're getting feedback from other people, what you're supposed to do is take this feedback and apply it to yourself so that you can become a better person. And it only helps you to become better at whatever job it is that you do. Or um, so it's not like, oh, the hater said this or this hater said that. It's like, maybe it's said out of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's not out to hate on you. They're giving you suggestions on how to be a better person, and that's not hate, that's love. you know and it might be unintentional love, but it's love. Take advantage of opportunities. So when closes, another one opens. So take that. um, and it might lead to and then see, build positive relationships. So all these things in your routine, your reminders, all these things are to help you build positive relationships. And building these positive relationships actually build like a social structure. Um, and so even if you decided to get a job somewhere else, because you built these positive relationships, you may have a better outcome in another environment because of a relationship that you built in this current environment. And then accept feedback gracefully. Keep an open mind. Again, um, look at it from a perspective of good. Even if um, you initially feel that they're just criticizing you and coming at you, just reprogram that thought. Just stop. And I'm saying, it's coming from a place of love. Even if you feel like the person doesn't like you, just know that it's coming from a place of love. Accept the feedback gracefully, see what you can change and make better, and then just try again. Where are motivations? Let me see, where are your motivations? um, your motivations are usually stuck somewhere in your whys. You know, motivation keeps you inspired to perform tasks at work, and keeping motivated can be challenging at times. And you can remember those inspirations. If you can remember those inspirations, you can keep your performance stamina up. And at some point, we all experience burnout. We all experience disconnection with our work environment, but we have to find ways to stay connected and motivated. And many times those motivations can be found in your whys. Those inspirations can be found in your whys. Like, why did you want to work here? What brought you here? What inspired you? It could be a person. It could be that you want to follow in somebody's footsteps. It could be that this is what you've always wanted to do. Well, why did you want to do that? What was your inspiration? Was it that you wanted to be a positive role model for your children? um, I mean, those are your whys, and your whys are not wrong. Those are your whys. Why you decided to take on this job, why you decided to work even in the first place, those are your whys. And if you were to write down the answer to your whys, you can, your motivation is in those whys. Another thing to look at is, what is your impact? And I don't just mean like in the workplace. You have an impact in the workplace, don't get me wrong. And staffing people, it's not an easy job. So yeah, you have an impact. But the impact that I'm talking about is like, you know, what is your impact on yourself? How is this making you feel, in the position that you're in? Like you as a parent, and how are you impacting your children? That they're seeing their mom, their dad go out to work. How does that impact them? Um, and knowing that, my parent works, so it's just like, what is your impact? Like, you could be influencing your niece or nephews. You could be influencing people on your social media. What is your impact? What is your influence on people around you? Taking on new challenges. So sometimes people get bored. I'm one of them. So um, because like if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, sometimes it can just get daunting and boring. So taking on new challenges. So take professional risk and challenge yourself um, at work. And you can always, it's kind of like asking for extra credit. And by doing this and taking on new challenges at work, that you're demonstrating to your employer your enthusiasm to take on higher responsibilities and challenging tasks, to show your manager that you're dedicated and that you're committed to the company. And we like that. This also gives you a sense of pride and ownership, and it boosts your performance, and it increases your self-esteem, and it can increase your overall motivation. Um, Another thing is set measurable goals. So when you're setting measurable goals for yourself, you're creating a system of accountability, and you don't have to share these measurable goals with anybody. You can just share them with yourself. And these measurable goals, you're basically creating a system of accountability with no one else but yourself. Sometimes you have to be your own best friend, but setting those measurable goals and then rewarding yourself. Man, who's going to treat yourself better than you? Okay. So you got to treat yourself. Treat yourself. I mean, and yeah, reward yourself. Get a massage. Those are awesome. Get a massage. Go see a chiropractor. Go buy yourself, a spray from Bath and Body Works. Go buy a new tool like every time you reach a new goal. And then lastly, want to and share your idea. Um, and again, like sharing new ideas. It's like you're creating a buy-in that they're going to give you a portion of their shares or anything, but it's just like it's your idea that you're sharing with the company that they may or may not use. But again, you're showing your dedication to the company and that you want to see this company move further along. And then this is your contribution to helping um, them, grow as a company. Because like we may see something out there and say, hey, like we should be doing that at our facility or at our company. And it may not have crossed the mind of those who are in charge, like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. So yeah, bringing those ideas to your company is awesome. Uh, so in conclusion, we defined the importance of having a positive mindset or positive thinking. We went over reprogramming, which are our reminders that we have going on. Paying attention to our self-explanatory style. How do we talk to ourselves? And then the few habits that we need to develop, having an attitude of gratitude, not taking things personal, being happy for our coworkers and recognizing that not everybody is a competitor, that criticism doesn't mean hate. Criticism actually means love, and we use those things to make ourselves a better person, a better employee, to provide better work. To adjust our perspective. Perspective is just a fancy way of saying how we see things. So we need to adjust the way that we see things and try to find the positive um, in our situations. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others, but be kind to yourself, and watch that self-talk. And then get connected with your coworkers. It doesn't it and to contribute, if you have an idea or two, contribute those ideas or two um, with your company, and they'll greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your virtual attendance of a positive mindset and motivation in the workplace. My name is Michelle Quinn, and I can be reached at michelle@scareinc.org. Have a wonderful day.